This isn't about money, it's not about looks, and it's definitely not about chasing her around like she's some kind of prize you have to win. No, it's about something much deeper, something that taps into how a woman remembers a man emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually. See, in today's dating world, most guys are doing way too much of the wrong thing and none of what actually matters. That's why they're being ghosted, ignored, or worse, remembered as just another guy who didn't get it. But here's the truth. A woman will never forget a man who touches her soul in a way that others simply don't. And I'm not talking about sweet talk and candlelit dinners. I'm talking about the kind of actions and energy that make her feel something deep. A man who understands this becomes unforgettable. Not because he begged for attention, but because he made an impression that stuck. Every man wants to leave a mark. Every man wants to be remembered as the one she regrets losing, the one she compares others to. But few men understand what actually makes a woman carry your presence in her heart, even long after you've gone. So in this video, I'm breaking down 5 things a man can do that a woman will never forget. These are not just tips, they're tactics rooted in deep psychology, emotional impact, and timeless masculinity. And at the end, I'll give you 2 bonus tactics that will elevate your entire dating game if you apply them. Let's cut through the noise and get to what works. If you want to be the man she can't forget, let's begin. 1. He makes her feel safe without saying a word. Every woman remembers the man who made her feel safe, not with words but with presence. Most men talk too much. They say things like, "I got you," or "You can trust me," hoping she'll believe them. But the men who truly stand out, the men a woman never forgets, are the ones who don't need to say it. They show it. It's in their energy, their decisions, their calm. He walks into a room, and suddenly she can breathe. Not because he fixed her problems, but because he's grounded in himself. Masculine safety doesn't come from being aggressive or overprotective. It comes from emotional steadiness. A man who doesn't react wildly, who listens more than he talks, who doesn't get flustered under pressure, that man radiates safety. When she's falling apart, he stays still. When she's emotional, he doesn't judge. When she's vulnerable, he doesn't use it against her. That type of energy, it leaves a mark on her soul. Let's make it practical. Imagine a woman opening up about something that hurt her. Most guys either jump in to fix it or dismiss it. But the unforgettable man stays present. He doesn't try to rescue her, and he doesn't brush it off. He says something simple like, "I hear you." He looks her in the eye. He holds space. That's the difference. You see, every woman is testing for this, subtly, silently. She wants to know, if I unravel in front of you, will you still be here? And if your energy answers that question with calm assurance, she'll never forget how you made her feel. Long after you've stopped texting, long after she's in a new relationship. You'll still live in the part of her memory labeled safe. But this doesn't just come from trying to be that man for her. It comes from doing the work on yourself. Women remember men who've mastered their own chaos. The man who doesn't need validation. The man who isn't thrown off by her moods. The man who doesn't try to control her emotions, but also doesn't get controlled by them. That man doesn't beg. He doesn't chase. He just is. That's rare. And in a world full of noise and overcompensation, rare becomes unforgettable. So if you want to be the man she keeps thinking about, the one she compares others to, the one who makes her question why she let you go, start here. Be the man who makes her feel safe, not by saying the right thing, but by being the solid ground she didn't know she needed. 2. He sees her beyond her beauty. In today's dating world, women are constantly being admired, liked, followed, and commented on. Everywhere she turns, some guy is calling her gorgeous, sexy, or dropping heart emojis on her latest selfie. It's all surface-level noise. Most men see her body, her face, her curves, but they never see her. That's why most men are forgettable. They treat her like a beautiful object instead of a complex woman with depth, dreams, flaws, and fears. But the man who looks past her beauty, the one who notices how her eyes light up when she talks about something she loves, the one who listens closely when she speaks and remembers the little things she says, not because he's trying to get something from her, but because he's genuinely present. That man sticks in her mind. It's not about complimenting her in a different way. It's about understanding her. A woman remembers the man who noticed her when she wasn't trying to be noticed. She remembers the man who made her feel interesting when she felt boring. She remembers the man who didn't flinch when she showed her flaws. that's unforgettable. Because most men only stick around when the makeup is on, the attitude is sweet, and the mood is right. The one who stays curious when she's moody, real, or even messy, that man becomes special. Let me give you a real example. A woman is sitting across from you and tells you how she used to write poetry, but gave it up because someone made her feel small for it. The average guy says, "Oh, okay, that's cool." But the man she'll never forget leans in and says, "Why'd you stop? That sounds like something that meant a lot to you." That moment right there, that's impact. That's the kind of energy that sinks into her memory because you saw her. Most men are too busy trying to impress. They're flexing, talking about themselves, trying to win her over. But the man who doesn't try to be impressive and instead becomes interested, that man wins something deeper. A woman can feel when she's being observed versus when she's being understood. And the truth is, she's starving for understanding in a world full of filters and fake attention. Don't misunderstand this. This doesn't mean becoming overly sensitive or emotionally dependent. You're still grounded. You're still leading with masculine presence. But you're not shallow. You don't treat her like a trophy, you treat her like a real person. And trust me, very few men do that consistently. Very few men care enough to ask, "What makes you feel most alive?" Or, "What scares you the most about love?" Questions like that leave fingerprints on her mind. If you can see the woman behind the image, and if you can make her feel like she matters beyond how she looks, she will never forget you. Even if she moves on, even if years pass, the memory of being truly seen by you won't go anywhere. 3. He walks away when he's not respected. This is where most men fall flat, and it's exactly why most women forget them. See, it's easy to show love when she's sweet, supportive, and giving you the attention you want. But what do you do when she disrespects you? When she tests your boundaries? When she starts acting like your presence is no longer valuable? Most men cave. They try harder. They start chasing. They lose themselves trying to win her back. And in doing that, they become forgettable, because they showed her they have no backbone. A woman will never forget the man who walked away the moment she stopped treating him right. Not out of anger, not out of drama, but out of deep self-respect. That type of man doesn't have to shout, argue, or beg. He simply chooses to remove himself from any space where he's not being valued. That move, quiet, confident, powerful, hits a woman deeply. Because deep down, she knows when she's crossing a line. She knows when she's giving less than she should. And when a man doesn't tolerate it, she remembers him. You want to know what really sticks with her? It's the fact that you didn't try to convince her of your worth. You let your silence speak. You let your absence do the talking. That's strength. And women are wired to remember strength. Let's look at it practically. Say you're dating a woman and she starts playing games, taking hours to reply, flirting with other guys in front of you, or suddenly withdrawing her effort. The average man starts panicking. He doubles down, tries to win her attention back, and starts compromising on his standards just to keep her. But the unforgettable man? He notices the shift, addresses it once like a grown man, and if it doesn't change, he walks away. He doesn't send long texts. He doesn't start arguments. He just backs out with dignity. Now here's the key. Walking away only works if you actually mean it. You can't fake this. If you walk away hoping she'll chase you, you're still being needy. But if you walk away because you genuinely know your value, that's when the shift happens. That's when she starts to feel it. That's when her mind replays your exit over and over. Because in that moment, you became rare. Most men will tolerate anything just to stay close to a beautiful woman. But the man who respects himself more than he fears losing her, that man becomes unforgettable. You have to understand, respect is the foundation of everything. If a woman loses respect for you, it's only a matter of time before she loses interest. But if you make it clear from day one that you will not stay in any relationship where you're not honored, then you immediately separate yourself from every man who just hopes to be liked. Be the man who doesn't settle for crumbs. Be the man who isn't afraid to walk away. That's how she remembers you. Not as someone who tried to impress her, but as the man she couldn't manipulate. The man who left a void when he disappeared. 4. He gives her freedom, without fear. Most men don't realize this, but one of the most powerful things you can give a woman, if you want to be unforgettable, is freedom. Not fake freedom, not conditional freedom that says, do what you want, but I'll be watching. No, real freedom, the kind that says, you're your own person, I don't need to control you to feel secure with you. Here's the problem. Most guys operate out of fear. Fear that she'll leave. Fear that she'll meet someone better. Fear that if they're not constantly checking in, she'll lose interest. So what do? They cling. They smother. They question her every move. And without realizing it, they slowly choke the attraction to death. Because no woman feels connected to a man who doesn't trust her. She may tolerate him, but she won't respect or desire him. And once those two are gone, she's already halfway out the door. But the man who trusts himself, the man who has full confidence in who he is and what he brings to the table, he doesn't flinch. He doesn't check her phone. He doesn't get nervous when she goes out with her friends. He doesn't create rules to control her behavior. Instead, he creates an environment where she wants to stay faithful, not because she has to, but because she respects the freedom he gives her. And here's what's crazy. Women test for this all the time. They want to see, are you secure enough to let me be me? Can you handle the attention I get from other men? Can you stand strong even when things feel uncertain? If the answer is yes, she will never forget you. Because so few men pass that test. Let's bring it into the real world. Say you're dating a woman and she tells you she's going on a weekend trip with her girls. Most guys tense up. They start asking who's going, what time she's coming back, what clubs they're hitting. But the man she never forgets says, have fun, I'll see you when you get back. That's it. No drama, no passive-aggressive tone. Just confidence. Why? Because his trust isn't naive. It's rooted in strength. He knows that if she betrays that trust, she's only disqualifying herself from his life. He knows he's the prize, and a woman feels that. She feels the difference between a man who's afraid to lose her and a man who simply refuses to beg for her loyalty. That's unforgettable. The truth is, when you give a woman space to be herself, and you remain grounded whether she stays close or drifts, she starts to value your energy in a way that's rare. You become the calm in her chaos, the man who isn't shaken, and that's exactly what creates a lasting impact. So stop trying to control. Start trusting yourself more. Because when you lead with security instead of fear, you don't just get her attention, you earn her respect. And long after you're gone, she'll remember how free she felt around you, and how much she didn't want to lose that.